You got a trick for sleep. Sleep seems to be one of those problems that 50% of people have. Sometimes they don't talk about it. Any tricks?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the sleep chapter alone in Boundless is like 80 pages
Yeah,
long, and we could
it's
talk for
huge.
hours about sleep. But let me tell you, most people I think these days are aware of sleep hygiene, right? You keep the room cold and you sleep in a cold environment. You eliminate light sources, especially from screens and e-readers and computers. You limit your stress as much as possible before you go to bed, and um, uh, uh, you sleep in a somewhat quiet environment. You control the noise, and most people are aware of that. But then when it comes down to boots in the streets, there are so many little things that people forget that I think are the big drains when it comes to sleep. So, for example, we know that the absence of light at night is important, but not many people talk about the massive importance of waking up to large amounts of natural sunlight, even the use of these red light devices that simulate sunrise, the use of devices you can place in your ears or glasses that produce light to just blast you with light if you live in a dark or dreary or gray area like Seattle or Portland. Like your sleep cycle begins in the morning. And you need to expose yourself to as much natural light, either via sunlight or via these red light producing devices or a combination of both in the morning, because that's what jump starts your circadian rhythm. Okay. And then in the evening, yeah, a lot of people are wearing blue light blockers. They're installing programs like Flux, or the one that I like even better than that, like Iris on their computers. But their lighting in their actual bedroom is still subpar. It's LED, it's fluorescent, it's producing a lot of flicker, it's producing a lot of red light. So I think one of the best things you can do is replace all of the light bulbs in your bedroom and your master bathroom with red incandescent bulbs, or some of these newer biological LED bulbs that are the color red. Okay, because your skin has a ton of photoreceptors in it. And I don't care if you're wearing blue light blocking glasses, your entire body is an eye. And so you need to be aware of that when it comes to light. So that's one thing. When it comes to cold, a lot of people will decrease the temperature, but they won't decrease it enough. I think the optimum sleeping temperature is one in which, when you take off your clothes to go to bed at night, there's a little bit of mental resistance because it's kind of sort of chilly when you take off your clothes. Typically, that's about 63 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the ideal sleeping temperature for a bedroom. And furthermore, there are little tricks. Like there was one study that showed a 15-minute decrease in sleep latency when you wear wool socks as you go to bed, because your feet become warm and that helps to cool the rest of the body. I also like this chili pad device that you can get and sleep on. It'll circulate 55-degree cold water under your bed at night. In addition to that, kind of like later afternoon, early evening cold shower or cold soak, right? So it's not just about kind of sort of keeping the room kind of cold. You want to go out of your way to actually get everything pretty cold and take some extra steps to do so. And then the last couple of things to think about is, we know that silence is important, right? Barking dogs, blaring alarms, sirens, etc. But there are certain noises that can help to enhance sleep. There was one study, I think it was done at Stanford, that showed that a form of noise, we're all familiar with, like white noise and brown noise. Well, a lot of these apps, you can take your phone, put it in airplane mode next to the bed, and I use an app called Sleep Stream for this, to play pink noise. Turns out that pink noise can enhance sleep, particularly deep sleep, more than any of these other forms of noise that will drown out ambient sounds. So I play a little bit of pink noise to drown out ambient sounds. And then the last thing is, I talked about not going to bed in a stressed state. And I think I would say the top three things that I do for that. Number one is, as I go to sleep, I take an exhale that's twice as long as my inhale. So typically it's about 1, 2 in, 1, 2, 3, 4 out. And as you do that, it just lulls your body into a parasympathetic state. We know that long exhales have an impact on the vagus nerve that will activate the parasympathetic state. And so doing a breathwork practice like a 2-4 or a 4-8 breathwork practice as you fall asleep helps to manage the stress component. And then your bed needs to be a place that you, even from a subconscious standpoint, associate with safety. And the two ways you can do that are, A, Don't let your computer or books associated with your work or your career or business discussions or anything like that come anywhere near the bedroom. Okay. Don't be that person. Even when you check into a hotel room, don't plop your laptop on your bed and crawl onto the bed in your belly to get some work done. Keep the laptop away from the bed. Do not let your brain associate the bed in any way with work. And then furthermore, to enhance that feeling of safety, I'm a huge fan. I've had a lot of people respond really, really well to this, of gravity blankets, right? Like a 20 to 25 pound, good cooling gravity blanket. It makes you feel as though you're protected by this hard protective layer that kind of just like, it's very similar like when you were a baby and you were swaddled and you put one of these gravity blankets on your bed. And that's amazing also for the stress piece. So yeah, pay attention to cold, light, silence, and stress, but also understand the little nitty gritties of how to do that. And I get into all that stuff in the big sleep chapter in